Alright, and we're back, fresh off of a round 1 win. We get to play again, and this hand is absolutely fantastic. It has pretty much everything we need. Attune makes sure we hit our 4th mana source. We have Widening Constrictor into Rishkar with a removal spell as well. So I'll start off with a turn 1 Attune for a Swamp. And get 2 energy, pass the turn. Opponent leads on Concealed Courtyard, Toolcraft Exemplar. So this is very likely to be the Mardu Vehicles deck. Although I suppose it could be some sort of straight-up white-black aggro deck. Like white-black artifact-based aggro. I doubt that, though. This is a Fatal Push. This is a Fatal Push. Well, that is a problem. Because that's our only real creature that matters. Rishkar is going to be a 3/3 for 3 on its own. Okay, we can just cast 2 Fatal Pushes here. Hope to draw into something for Rishkar. Spire of Industry from our opponent. So it's a good one. It's a very good one, actually. It fixes their mana, and I'm going to get rid of this right now. I'll save the other one for something a bit bigger than a 1/2. Let's see what they play. It's a Heart of Kiran. That is a very good Fatal Push target. I'll just Rishkar to prevent these Thraben Inspectors from getting in here. And then we'll hold up the Fatal Push, which is kind of obvious given the fact that we're leaving the Blooming Marsh up, but what can you do? That's a Gideon. That is a problem. Wow. They're making a knight, probably... Oh wow, they're removing a loyalty counter to crew it? Well, that's pretty great. Pretty great for us. We're gonna get rid of that, so we don't have to deal with it. Whoops. That was not supposed to be an F6. I accidentally F6 through most of my turn. Oh well. I want all of these counters on the Gearhulk anyway. So that we can trample over it, actually kill the Gideon. Because if we put too many counters on Rishkar, then it just eats a Knight Ally or a Thraben Inspector every turn, but doesn't actually kill the Gideon. The worst possible card from our opponent would be Unlicensed Disintegration, but they would need a land in hand, an untapped land in hand as well. I don't know what the next worst card would be. Maybe another Heart of Kiran, just so they can throw like a tremendous number of creatures in front of the Gearhulk. Okay, they don't have either. It looks like they just have a bunch of creatures, which is not gonna go according to plan. I don't think for them. I'm just going to attack with the Gearhulk. They get to trade all of their creatures if I don't have a removal spell, but they don't. So I'll just play the Siphoner and pass. So the problem with this situation is that their creatures are actually pretty threatening. They appear to have successfully gone wide. Alright, so this Scrounger means that their Toolcraft Exemplar gets first strike because of the 2 clues, and the Scrounger makes 3. So that's not going to be the greatest. If I just block a knight here, I take 8 damage. Like, just block a knight with Rishkar, I take 8 damage, which is not pleasant. But it might be necessary in order for me to draw a card off of this Siphoner. Because otherwise I don't think I'm getting anywhere with this game. My opponent has the 2 clues, and I'm just... they're just outdrawing me. Even with this Gearhulk, it's not enough. Alright, and there's a Scrounger. So we're going to go down to 7. Draw an extra card. And now we start blocking with the Siphoners. At least one of them. I think I attack with the other one. We like block a Scrounger, Exemplar, Scrounger. Take 5 or Knight takes 6. No, I'll just block with everything, I think. This Quagmire means that we're probably stable enough. Like, we can untap next turn without paying extra to draw, and we'll probably be okay, but guess we'll see. I haven't seen any red mana or red cards from my opponent, so that leads me to believe that they're straight. That they're straight. Oh, there's an Inspiring Vantage, so never mind. And they just don't attack. Alright, I'm gonna draw one extra card because nothing got traded away. Okay, the Cub is helpful. I want to attack with one of these Siphoners to get a second energy so I can activate the Cub, or so I can draw a card off of the Siphoner next turn. Alright, we'll trade with an Inspector, which is fine. Not ideal, but it's okay. And then we can use the Cub we can use the energy to make the Cub a 3/3. Animate the Quagmire, and we'll have 5 blockers to their 6 attackers, so we take 1. Go down to 5. If they have unlicensed disintegration, we go down to 1 here. Because they get to disintegrate the Gearhulk, deal us 3, and then we have 4 blockers, so we block all their biggest creatures, and then Inspectors deal us 2 down to 1. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. All right. So they don't appear to have anything. Okay. So that's a good one. That's good. I'm going to draw a card off of the Siphoner. That is a Walking Ballista. Wow. Wow. Okay. If they don't have anything, we're in tremendous shape here. How much mana can we cast it for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. So we can cast Ballista for X equals 4. I'm just going to do that. It's going to be pretty good. We can pick off the Exemplar and then one other creature and keep the Ballista alive. So I'm going to start with getting rid of the Exemplar. And then I'll pass turn. We'll probably pick off the Knight. Or the Ballista can just block. Like, that's a great option too. Unless it dies. Okay, so they're Fatal Pushing it. I'm going to kill the Knight and throw 1 point of damage upstairs. There's no point in killing the one of the Scrap Heap Scroungers because they'll just return it. Alright, so that Ballista was a tremendous swing, but I'm not sure if it's enough. Okay, Ether Hub. So our opponent's flooding out, which means the Ballista probably is enough. Okay, that's a Winding Constrictor. Which means I can attack with Siphoner and Cub this turn, I think. So Siphoner gives me 2 energy. And then if they try to block the Cub, I can give it a lot more. But they don't. I can make it a 4/4 rather. I can give it spend the energy to give it 2 counters. Alright. So we dealt some damage, gained some energy, and then we're going to play a follow-up Cub. We can still animate Hissing Quagmire to block. We can make this Cub a 6/6 off of 2 activations plus Constrictor. So our opponent is in quite a bit of trouble. Harvester. That could be a problem. That could be a big problem, actually. We don't have a ton of life to work with. Yeah, I'm gonna draw a card. Wow, so that did not do much at all. The opponent just has demonstrated that they don't really have anything. If we attack with everything, what do? They probably throw Thraben Inspectors in front of the Long Tusk Cubs, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 8, which means they're dead. Oh, plus the 2 from Quagmire. Yeah. So if they have something, we're dead no matter what. And if they don't have anything, we win. But we have to act now. I'm interested in not giving them another draw step. Either we win now or they win next turn. A single removal spell prevents us from winning. By the way. No, depends on the removal spell. Fatal Push on the Cub. Oh. They get to animate the Harvester. Right. Alright, that was a huge mistake. I needed to give them one more draw step. Okay. So... yeah, that's 15 damage. They have to give lifelink. They have to give the Harvester lifelink, and they end up at 2. And then we're dead because they crew with one Scrounger and then attack with the other of the Harvester. Okay. Well, that was a huge mistake on my part. But we can fight through it. Liliana's good. Appetite's good. Grasp is good. Fatal Push and Natural State are good. I don't want to bring in any of the top end. Murder is a little sketchy. Ruinous Path might actually be better. Murder does stop the Saheeli combo, but I honestly haven't seen much of that. Alright, cards that are bad. Verdur's Gearhulk, 1 copy is bad on the draw. And then Siphon Urge doesn't do much, right? Because it draws us cards, but we care more about our life. We're on the play. We care more about our life total, so... I guess I want one more cut if I'm keeping the Gearhulk in. Ballista's slow but powerful. I think it's potentially still a Gearhulk. Yeah, I think we just have to respect their speed. And we're going to try to be a little aggressive here, but yeah, wow, that was a really big mistake. I needed to let them attack once and then try to draw something. I could have just served with the Verdur's Gearhulk there, and that would have been fine, or just the Long Tusk Cubs, or just both. I just needed to leave back more blockers, essentially. I could have served with just enough to make them chump away the Thraben Inspectors, and that would have left me with like one blocker, and that would have been fine, I think. Anyway, that was a huge mistake, but hopefully we learned from it. We don't don't walk into a vehicle block again in a race. Waiting for our opponent to sideboard. They're taking a little while, but that's okay. I'm excited to see. I haven't cast Liliana yet. Haven't cast it yet. So we'll see how good it is. Okay, this hand is very reasonable. We have a lot of stuff to do on 2 mana, and then once we hit 3, we have Harvester, or 2-drop plus Natural State. So that's pretty great. Alright, that's an Inspector. I'll see your 1-2 and raise you a 2-2. If this is a Fatal Push, I will be very disappointed. Nope. Not a Fatal Push. So I will cast my Fatal Push. Hold up Natural State. Get in for damages. Trigger. I'm going to put a counter on it now to avoid shock. It does make me spend my energy, but I'll get more from Harvester if I hit a land drop. Unlicensed Disintegration. Yeah, that's annoying. At least we made them spend 3 mana, right? Rishkar doesn't help. I guess I'm jamming this this Ballista for 1. If I draw another land, I can like Rishkar the Ballista, and that's good. Unless they kill it. But this is a Gideon, which puts us very far behind if we don't draw anything good. Which we don't. Alright. Guess we're just holding up Grasp of Darkness. Yes, they're plussing and attacking. No blocks from me. Because I need this Rishkar to make the Ballista bigger. Or I need this Ballista for the Rishkar to do stuff. Alright. Veteran Motorist will be a pretty solid grasp target. And then we can untap Rishkar the Ballista, attack Gideon down to 3, and then lose, I guess. That's how it goes, right? Oh well, that mistake game 1 really cost us. Okay, alright, we'll grasp the Motorist. I guess Harvester is the play, right? Harvester lets us block, and then it lets us attack Gideon back. And we still get to hold up Natural State if the opponent decides to play something. Alright. Talked myself into it. Playing Harvester over Rishkar because Harvester has lifelink. Or can gain lifelink, what have you. You know. Cracking a clue. Hub. Heart of Kieran. Sure, that's getting natural stated. Alright, we're going to crew this. Hopefully they don't have a removal spell. I think they have a disintegration, though. So no matter what we do, we die, right? Yeah. Alright, well. That's an example of how one mistake can lose you a match. And also of how powerful Mardu vehicles can be when you stumble. So, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. I'll see you soon.